Well, I actually came across, as I said to you at the start of the program, something today in our community that shocked me just a little. It's actually an organisation that's been doing some wonderful, wonderful things across our community, and I didn't even know about it. And to make matters worse, they've actually been operating as long as I've been alive. Now, have you heard of Community Transport Aid? Joining me is the president of the Ulladulla Milton District Branch, John Mallos. G'day there, John.
G'day, Stephen. How are you?
Look, I'm doing very well. I've got to confess, I was shocked that I hadn't heard of your organisation because you do so many great things. I've done a little bit of research, but what is it that you do in the community?
All right. Our purpose in life, Stephen, is to take transport disadvantaged people to their medical appointments. From Ulladulla, the southern Shoalhaven actually, we go to take people to medical appointments in Sydney. We go as far north as Hornsby. We go to Canberra, we go to Bowral, we go to Wollongong, we go to Nowra, and all places in between, taking people to medical appointments.
And I've got to say, that's a lot of sort of, I guess, work and time for your volunteers, isn't it? Especially if you're driving to places like Sydney and Canberra.
It is. We have wonderful volunteers, and they do the drives, and they just keep on keeping on. Our coordinators ring them. So we've got to drive to Sydney, and you've got to pick your client up at 6 in the morning, and these wintry mornings, it's no fun getting out of bed at 5 and driving to Sydney. Nope. We take clients up there, we wait for them to finish their appointment, and then we bring them home again. So it's all in the day service. However, sometimes our clients do have to go into hospital, and so we do one-way trips. We'll take them up there, take them to their hospital, and then we'll go back and get them when they're discharged again.
How many people would you say you roughly have to look after, John?
In the last 12 months, our little organisation has travelled almost 400,000 kilometres.
Wow.
And we've transported over 3,000 clients.
And are these clients, I know you said you sort of travel right across the place, but are most of these clients just from, say, the Milton-Ulladulla region, or do you take people from Nowra, for example, from Berry? No,
we don't. We have an area in which we operate, and it's bounded by Durras in the south and Bendalong in the north. Right. So anywhere in that area we'll pick up. We do actually pick up from the car park on the highway at Sussex Inlet. We don't go into Sussex, but if a client can get themselves to that car park, we will pick them up from there and take them up to their appointments, and then we'll bring them back and deposit them there. Usually clients can get themselves out there one way or another, so we pick them up from there and take them up. Yeah.
Now, John, I mentioned at the start that your organisation has been around as long as I've been alive, and I'm not going to divulge my age, but all this might give it away though. When did you guys form, and I guess and why? What was the need down there at the time?
Okay, we started in 1983. And originally, it was started by the Lioness Club, who are the ladies' equivalent of the Lions Club. But it came to pass fairly quickly that they couldn't cope with the demands of what we were doing or what they wanted to do. So there was a public meeting arranged, and some concerned citizens put their hand up and said, we'll take this over, we'll do this. And for the first 6 or 8 months of their existence, the volunteers, and there were 2 ladies, used their own vehicles, paid for their own fuel, transporting people to wherever they wanted to go. As the demand grew, they actually went to the local hospital. Back in those days, the hospital had buy their own cars, and we bought 2 cars from them, 2 second-hand cars. We spent about $600 and bought 2 cars.
Those are the days.
And that's kind of where it started. And it's just grown from there. We now have 7 vehicles, and we change them over every 40,000 kilometres, so they're essentially brand new vehicles. We are totally reliant on our clients' contributions. So we receive no government grants or government funding, and everyone in our organisation is a volunteer. So from the president down to the person that makes the tea or does the driving, we're all volunteers.
And making the tea and coffee is a very important job, John.
Yeah, well, that falls on me, mate.
Now, I understand, John, that sort of the Shoalhaven isn't your home per se. You've actually come from, I think, Sydney, from what I understand.
Yes.
So you've made the move down to the South Coast. What was it that drew you to this organisation to volunteer your time?
Oh, I worked in a big corporation, and my wife and I came down to the South Coast many years before we retired. Just fell in love with the place, and we bought our forever home down here. And I just wanted to give back. We just wanted to give back to the community. The community, in all the years we'd been coming down while we were working, was a welcoming community, and it's just wonderful to give back. And I have to say that our clients are absolutely inspirational. We don't generally carry healthy people. We carry people that are unwell, and some of them are just absolutely inspirational. And I just love it. I just love what I do. And
I can hear that passion in your voice, John.
Yeah, I've been with them 9 years now. I joined in 2014.
Wow.
And just as a driver, and I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved driving, and still do. So, and it's just a wonderful organisation that really does give back to the community. And we're just becoming busier and busier. More people are finding out about us. The only issue it's not an issue that we have over 100 drivers on our books. Problem is that they're nearly all grey nomads. So in the winter, 50% of them hitch up their caravans and go chasing in the sun. So,
Understandable.
We end up being shorter drivers. So we'll always be looking for drivers.
So
but other than that, it just ticks over beautifully for us.
So the call's out there, I guess, by the sounds of it, John, that you're looking for more volunteers.
Yep. Absolutely. We have our main call is for drivers, but we also have women that are coordinators that take the bookings from the clients as they ring in, and then they marry that booking up with a driver. So we say to our drivers, these are the areas that we drive to. You tell us which ones you're comfortable to drive to. So not everyone is happy to drive to Sydney. Some people may only want to drive to Nowra or to Bateman's Bay. Others are happy to go to Wollongong and Canberra, and others will go to Sydney. And then we say to them, well, tell us the days that you're free and you can drive for us. And so when a booking comes in, let's say for Wednesday, the coordinators will find a driver that will be happy to drive to that destination, and then they'll find a driver, they'll marry that up with a driver that's happy to drive on Wednesdays. They call the driver and they marry the job and the driver together, and job done. We just go and pick the client up from home and deliver them back to home.